Today I want to talk about the checklist you can do to lock and leave your caravan before going on holiday or having it in winter storage. So I've made this helpful checklist for you and you can download it in the description below. Now I actually started the process yesterday, but I wasn't particularly in a camera mood, so I'm going to properly film today. But from the top of my checklist, first off, closing all windows. Now also there's another side to this. It's you don't want water getting in, you want it to be secure so there's no burglary, but also you want airflow and ventilation in the caravan, so it's kind of that balancing act. I'm going to have the kitchen and I think the bathroom on the second latch just to get some airflow happening. And then make sure all your vents and skylights are closed. Nothing worse than coming back to seeing water in the caravan. And I don't have it, but if you have a TV antenna or dish, lower that down as well. And then wash your sheets and bedding so it's all clean and new when you get back. I actually did this yesterday and have been attempting to dry it while it's raining off and on to keep the sun out and make sure it doesn't damage. Like I've noticed on these there's a bit of sun damage already starting to happen, so I'm going to keep my curtains closed. I'm not going to put these down though because they have springs and apparently the attachments on the side can get damaged with time. And then just move these away from the wall, so I can already feel it's just a little bit damp, and that'll just make sure that everything's nice and dry when you get back. And you want to put moisture captures everywhere you can. So this one's actually completely full. Another tip is if you've got a fixed bed, it's probably a good idea to leave it lifted up just so you can get that airflow. Now this is a step I actually started yesterday. You want to get rid of all your perishables, any fruit that might, or bread that might just disintegrate while you're away. And then you also want to consider mice and ants. I have had an ant problem in the past and I know of people who've had a mouse problem. So what things do ants and mice like? I would move them from the caravan completely. And if you're extra worried, you could maybe set a mouse trap or get some ant sand and put it around the tires and the leveler legs. And you want to make sure that the fridge is open. This one actually has a little latch which just fits in there and it keeps the fridge open and air moving around. One other tip actually, but it doesn't have the freezer open. The freezer will also go moldy if it's not open. Too many times I've come back and I've ended up with a moldy fridge. And it's also a good time just to give everything in the fridge a clean. I've taken out the bottom tray just to take it into the house to clean. And you want to get all the rubbish out of your caravan. I had only just looked at my caravan for a couple of days and I've come back in and you can already smell something that's off. I don't quite know what it is, but yeah, you want to clear out all rubbish. And you'll also want to make sure that there's no water in your system, particularly in the hot water cylinder. That stores quite a bit. So turn on all your taps. I have no water tank attached at the moment, yet there's still water in the system, so you want that to all drain out. And actually thinking now would be a good time to put a grey water cleaning tablet down the sink or pour a whole lot of boiling water down just to clean out the pipes. Now paperwork. Check your insurance, your caravan insurance or your motorhome insurance. And also one that I know is going to expire right when I get back is my warrant of fitness for the caravan. That I have to do once a year, so I'll do that as soon as I get back. But you might also want to check your electrical certificate and your gas certificate at the same time. And then have you joined any clubs? When does that require being renewed? And then the last one for New Zealand, what about your self-containment certificate? How's the timing on that? And I know it's recommended that you drain your flush of the toilet. I don't actually know how to do that. Another idea is just to keep flushing into the toilet cassettes. I know it's near the end for mine, and I actually skipped that step completely. and I've already taken out my toilet cassettes. So you want to empty your toilet cassettes so they're nice and clean for when you get back, and it could be horrible. And I've also heard of a cool tip recently, which I started yesterday, is to put some nappy sand into the toilet cassette and fill it with water and just leave overnight. So I need to drain that. I'm going to drain the toilet cassettes into my dad's toilet because there's no dump station nearby. But if you are using a toilet, you kind of need permission from the owner, because I know campgrounds don't want you to do this. And then another tip I've heard is you can put sealant on the ring of the opening of the toilet cassette. I might skip that step too. But a fun job I am going to do is I'm going to clean the storage area where you keep the toilet cassettes, just because I know it's a little bit dirty at the moment and I really should do it. And then your batteries. It all depends on what type of battery and setup you have, but I have learned that even deep cycle batteries, even if they're disconnected, they slowly discharge over time. Was it about a year ago when I just started and I left the caravan here to work in Auckland for a little while, I hadn't realized that, and my battery went completely flat. I just left it and the battery charger slowly trickle charged and got it going again. I was a little bit lucky there. But I'm pretty sure I damaged my battery. So you want to be careful with your batteries. It hasn't happened since, because I now have a solar panel on the roof and it's continuously working. I'm strongly considering just turning off the main power, but just leaving the solar power running and not disconnecting it. But you'll also want to just disconnect anything electrical. Do you have anything plugged in? Is your inverter turned off? I installed a USB port and I do know that runs when the caravan power is turned on. What about your internet? What about the TV antenna? And a good idea is to take the batteries out of the alarms. That would be highly annoying to hear this alarm going off and not being able to get inside. And then any power tools you have, disconnect the battery and charge it so it's all ready for when you get back. And then also your heating. If you've got a fireplace, you want to take out all the ashes in it. And with my heater, it's completely, this front fell off on my last trip. And I think I figured out why it hasn't actually been working on gas recently. I noticed I must have accidentally pulled it a little too hard in the past, and this came off, which is part of this igniter section. So I think that's the reason. I'm going to put it together and see if it works. That's where it should go. Got there. Also consider, where are you storing the caravan? Is there a tree where leaves can fall onto the caravan? Can bird poo fall onto the caravan? Do you want to cover it with a caravan cover? You want to make sure everything's locked. One thing you want to be careful about are your tires. I did find out that it's recommended that you rotate the wheel every 6 to 8 weeks. Now, I didn't really do that at the last place I stayed at, and I was there for about 3 months, so it's, there is a bit of leeway. There is a recommendation that you maybe get one of those what are they called? Wheel saver cradles, which is kind of like a leveler, but it curves with the wheel and kind of keeps it a little bit safe. Also, you can get wheel covers to kind of protect the wheel from the sun. But I have also learned, don't use plastic, because that could cause condensation and actually cause more damage. And then caravan security. I have a wheel lock, but I know there are hitch locks as well that you can use. So you just want to make it as difficult as possible for someone to steal your caravan. You can also get trackers in the Caravan that you can use your phone to track with. I've even heard people putting in old mobile phones in their Caravan and attaching it to some power so that if the Caravan is stolen they can track it that way. Also, putting down your Caravan stabilizing legs kind of stops it from going for a walk, whether that's rolling on its own or someone taking it. And it's also probably the perfect time to grease up everything. I do know my stabilizing legs need a little bit more. And you'll want to make sure your gas is off and tighten up the gas bottles. It looks like a lot of people seem to recommend disconnecting the hose from the gas bottles as well, and then covering the holes with plastic so that spiders can't move in while you're away. But I don't really have anywhere to move these bottles, so I'm just going to keep them here. And other things you want to do are your external freshwater and grey water tanks. You want to empty and drain so that there's no water just sitting there while you're away. And I'm just going to give you one car tip, and that's to keep the tow rust free. You can buy these little tow caps that I've had this for a while, I've just never got around to using it, so today's the day. So that's it, that's my lock and leave checklist for if you're going on holiday or leaving for winter. What do you think? Is there anything I've left off or that you would do slightly differently? Let me know in the comments below, and seriously, there's a checklist in the description as well.